welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. It's a really crowded table today, and joining us, as always, is Jon Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show. Whatever, I don't care. I just had a bagel.
I had two.
Also here, Jon Schnepp.
What's up? There's a lot of people here. I want Mark to start eating those crunchies while I'm talking. We already had this bit already.
Who brings potato chips to a set?
This guy, Mark Ellis.
It was like, look, if you look at the wide shot, it's like the Last Supper anyway. So I brought some snacks.
Also here, Kristian Harloff.
Welcome.
All right, guys. Hey, listen, watching the news the last couple of days, as we do sometimes, it came out the Iowa caucuses over the other day, right? We're down to the final heat. You got your really last 4 or 5 contenders for the presidential race. The election is this year, and what's on everybody's mind is what are the true super important issues of the day? What are the big things? What are the things the people want to know about? What are the things the people want to talk about? So we thought in honor of the Iowa caucuses, we would go through, we get a lot of emails, tweets, comments, stuff like that. And a lot of times, a lot of them have similar themes. So what we thought we would do today, because you, the people, deserve this, we got the whole crew together today to address the big issues. This is the movie talk version of the Iowa caucuses, of course. So we took these issues here. We're going to read off here for you today. These are the ones that 100 of you have written in about each one of these. So we thought we would kind of put them all together into one big mishmash and address them here today because you deserve it.
Now, I have a question about this. Are these political issues? Or are we talking about like what Bernie and what Hillary talked about?
We're going to talk about education, foreign policy,
gun control,
equal rights, gun control. We're going to talk. No. We're going to talk about in the world of movies, of course, the big super important issues in the world of movies. So our moderator today will be our own Megan Kelly, of course, Ashley Mova.
Yes, Trump, you fear me. You can be Trump for the day. All of you.
No.
We are a conglomeration of Trumps today. All right, so Ashley is going to lead us off.
Well, in true American fashion, everyone's super hyped for the Super Bowl. Lots of people are talking about who's going to win, the Broncos or the Panthers, but we're...
The Panthers. I want the Panthers to win.
Okay.
The Princes.
But we're excited about what trailers are we going to get. So do you guys think that we're going to get a Rogue One trailer, yay or nay?
That's a good, the one studio that has been keeping things the quietest has been Disney. Everybody else has been...
Why are you laughing?
It was on me. I was on TV. I was excited.
We got more people at the table than we normally do. Dennis is like, who's sitting where?
I'm sorry, I should be more specific. John, yay or nay?
All Paramount, all the studios have announced which trailers are going to be playing, but as of right now, Disney is keeping mum on it. They're not telling people what they're playing, which tells me they're planning something to surprise everybody. I think they're planning to surprise everybody. Had you asked me a month ago, do I think they would have had a Rogue One teaser of some sorts ready for the Super Bowl? I would have said no, probably not. But the fact that Disney's being secretive about this, and the fact that they are really further along than I think a lot of us give them credit for, I'm going to go on record and say, yes, I believe that as I'm sitting there watching the Super Bowl with Jon Schnepp right beside me, taking in the great sport of football.
What is a Super Bowl? What are you guys talking about? What's a Super Bowl?
I believe...
Big bowl. It's like a big bowl?
It's a big,
I thought it was like cereal.
With potato
right?
chips.
Right.
It's something Mark missed out on, apparently. Okay. So I believe we are going to get a Rogue One trailer this Super Bowl. That's what I believe. Kristian.
I also believe that we will be getting a Rogue One teaser for sure, and with a full trailer coming before Civil War. But I think that we will get that teaser, and we will also get a little bit of the Darth Vader breathing. I think that's definitely going to happen inside the Rogue One. I think it's a perfect way for them to, because the Star Wars hype is starting to die down a little bit, because Force Awakens is now, I don't know, in 6th, 7th week, whatever it is, that they want people to still keep talking about Star Wars, and they will. Star Wars will once again be the talk of the Super Bowl weekend when it comes to the trailers.
Panthers are going to win 31-13, first of all. And as far as Star Wars, they're also going to win because you're going to see a Rogue One teaser during the Super Bowl. Disney likes to go big with Star Wars, gentlemen and lady. They like to say, hey, we are going to own everything. We want to dominate. They dominated YouTube, the internet, Star Wars Celebration. So why not own the Super Bowl as well? The game is probably not going to be that good. And so you're going to be watching it for the commercials. Now, Disney has bought ad space, as we probably would have expected, because they have Captain America coming coming out. I think it's a no-brainer you see a Civil War trailer.
Absolutely,
I don't think you're going to see any other Marvel properties. I don't think they're going to throw a Doctor Strange thing in there, but I think you're going to see a Rogue One teaser, and I also believe you're not going to see Darth Vader, but you're going to hear the breathing.
First of all, you're crazy if you think Carolina's going to put up 31 points against Denver's defense. I think you're crazy.
I think Peyton Manning might give him a couple points.
I'm gonna have a giant bowl of Cheerios, and I'm saying Rogue One is not. There's no teaser. You Star Wars sweaties don't get it because they moved Rogue One. It's not coming out this Christmas. They moved it to
No, it
the
is
summer.
coming
No,
out.
it is coming out this Christmas.
It's coming out this Christmas.
Yes.
Comes out December.
Yeah,
What?
they
Episode
moved
8 was
episode
moved.
8 back.
Ah.
They moved
May to
episode 8 back.
December.
Well, then hang on.
So we'll remove you from this arena.
So I think Rogue One, they'll probably have a breathing Darth Vader, whatever.
It's Jeb Bush.
Yeah, it's all that breathing and whatever those guys were talking about with Star Wars. It's happening.
All right.
All right. This last year, I enjoyed a ton of indie films. My favorite two, I think, were Room. I was obsessed with Room, super obsessed, and Dope was great too. What can indie producers do to get kind of a larger audience? Because I kind of think that they fly under the radar. Even when I mentioned Room to my parents, like, what is Room? It's like, Mom, Dad, you have to see this movie, and not a lot of people hear about these movies.
Your parents were like, Tommy Wiseau? Tommy Wiseau
when you try
Room?
to imitate your parents.
They're going to go see Room now because they brought it to their attention. But what can producers do to kind of get a bigger audience? Kristian, I'll throw it to you. Because you have like a blank stare on your face.
No,
I
it
really
doesn't.
wanna throw it to you.
No, look, it's marketing. And like, you look at a movie that was a smaller film, like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. This is 2005 when this movie came out, and the studios put no marketing behind it whatsoever. It's a great movie. If you've never seen it, it's definitely Shane Black's best. It's it's a gem. But because it was a smaller movie, they didn't put any marketing behind it. They didn't get, and this is still 10 years later. And now with whether it be Star Wars or Marvel or these big movies, a lot of these smaller films get lost in the shuffle. I think there needs to be a bigger marketing push for these films too. I think that if you believe, if you have the big enough stars, you should try to get put them in more theaters too. There should be ways to expose it more to the audience, because like Ashley's parents, and there's other audience members that are not people who are not the YouTube like. Our audience knows about the smaller movies because we'll talk about them here on the show. We'll see them. They might catch it if they're subscribed to trailer channels. They might see them there. But the mass movie audience is not getting it the way that they're not understanding that these movies are out there. So I think there just needs to be bigger marketing pushes for these films.
It's tough because there's a little bit of a chicken and an egg scenario because we can say, and I completely have said the exact same thing you just said. These little indie films, they don't get marketing pushes, therefore people don't go see them. But at the same time, what a studio or an indie film producer might say is, well, we don't believe that this film is going to have a wide audience, so we don't know that we can sink more money into the marketing if we don't think we're going to get a payoff for it. So it's kind of this cyclical thing. It's one of these things where not a lot of people in the general movie-going audience will go and check out the indie films. And that is really a shame. I wish they would. If more people would show an inclination to go out and support these types of films, I think then you'd see producers willing to step out on the ledge a little bit more and say, let's invest 10 more million into the marketing on this, even though they're thinking we're already going to be 5 million in the hole, now we're going to be 15 million in the hole. I don't know that there's a magic bullet. For a long time, myself and a lot of the film pundits, we've talked about and tried to speculate about what's the magic bullet, what's that one solution that will take the world of indie film and get it in front of the wider audience, and why doesn't the wider audience want to watch these things? And to this day, I don't really know the answer to it. Maybe more marketing is the answer. I mean, I just don't know.
But you also can't, if you're not coming from a major studio and you don't have big stars in your movie, it's hard to market in the traditional way, but it's 2016, kids. You can go on the internet and market pretty much for free. Like Dope is a movie, didn't have a lot of big stars in. I didn't know who the director was. I didn't know the movie was coming out until I heard about it on Twitter first. Then you see Facebook ads for it, and you see ways that people can very cheaply, very cost-effectively get their movie out to the public, and then you can also encourage not only people involved with the movie, but audiences. Like, give them a screening of it. If you have faith in your indie movie to begin with, give audiences test screenings of it and let them say, hey, please tweet, hashtag, do all that kind of stuff, because people who you're going for that are going to want to see the indie movies, Ashley's parents aside, who are big on Twitter, it's going to be a younger generation that you're aiming a lot of these movies for. And by the way, Ashley's dad, the meatloaf was terrific last night.
Thank you. Thanks you.
Well,
Thanks you.
I would say as far as distributing and making independent films, the internet is the key to that, period. Because you don't have to pay money. It's virtually free. And that's how we distributed and marketed our film. The Death of Superman Lives. What Happened was pretty much all online. We sold it digitally and had physical copies on different platforms. Nowadays, you can sell stuff on VHX, Vimeo. There's all these different platforms that are just online hubs. And that's kind of where I think the future of independent film is going to go, is it's not going to live in the theater, because what you're dealing with is like giant $100 million tentpole films that cost, $15 to $20 to get into if you're taking your whole family, and parking and food. You're talking about $100, maybe $150 night out on the town. Can you afford that? It depends on, like, if you're a film lover, if you're a cineast, you're gonna go see movies. You're gonna go, like, here in LA, you're gonna go to the Sundance Theater. You're gonna see these independent films, but you have to do it. You have to be proactive about it. There's not gonna be billboards. Small films can't afford that, and no small film that they spent $5 million on, they're not gonna, unless it's a horror film or a specific genre film that they know they can get that money back on the weekend, like The Boy or The Forest or whatever those kinds of films are. They get that weekend back. They really probably cost them like $2.5 million. They throw a couple million into ads. Same type of marketing, viral marketing online, on Facebook, on Twitter, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I think that's the future. And also we have things that we didn't have 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, all the middle budget movies were already being destroyed and halved and cut in half. No budgets for that. It's either 100 or 10 million. Now we have Amazon, we have Netflix, we have Hulu, all these different streaming platforms where you can actually have an independent film made. There's a real budget for it, and it's instantaneous. People know, oh, they want to see that. They want to watch this. Also, there's these things that you could do, like expand it's not a movie anymore. It's a 10-part series, so you can actually delve deeper into that. So I think that's kind of the road.
Well, I think that you make a good point as well, too, because if you look for what people are going to say in regards to the movie theater experience, like now we go, well, that's a movie you have to see in the theater. That you hear that all the time. Yeah. Like Star Wars, a movie you have to see in the theater. The Avengers. I mean, there's certain movies that now are made for that big theater popcorn experience, and there's these smaller movies like Room and other movies that maybe people feel like they could get a better experience watching at home or watching on iTunes or wherever it might be. But I also think something that could be interesting is if because a lot of these movies are the system, like whether it be Fox Searchlight or Sony Classics, whatever it is, they should be putting ads or trailers for the smaller films in front of their big ones as well too, just to get even if people are going to download it later on, but to get more notice on those films. So if it's if it's something from Fox Searchlight should put one of their Fox Searchlight movies before Fox. I mean, obviously it can't be so off in tone, but I think that's a way to bring notice to people who might not know the movie.
It does have to be grassroots, though. I mean, there's going to be that element to it. And like Kristian, you were just at Sundance chilling with Bob Redford, so they have a lot of movies that play there that you don't get to see otherwise in theaters. And Schnepp, it's also a thing where if you made the movie, you have to be passionate about promoting it too. Right. Like you busted your ass. You went to a bunch of screenings, you went to a bunch of conventions, you met fans. So even people that didn't know The Death of Superman Lives was coming out, they're like, oh, I know who Jon Schnepp is. I want to go meet that dude.
Right.
And they weren't disappointed, most of them.
Right, most of them. You definitely have to be out there promoting your film. But Kristian, what you said, unfortunately, putting trailers in front of large films, it's really hard because all these other studios are like, no, we want our big blockbuster. So, and it's exciting for us. Like, all of us are like, oh, what trailer is what are they going to play before, like, a giant, like, $300 million film like Batman v Superman? It's going to be all these other gigantic films. So that's like the 10 minutes of trailer.
I'm talking about something. If Warner Brothers has a smaller film, though, like before Batman v Superman, there should be at least one spot that's made for that smaller film.
It's oftentimes, though, it's not even up to the studio. Like, there are other players involved in making those decisions.
Yeah.
The individual theaters make those decisions as well. So it's a tricky road. It's a Trekkie road. It's a tricky road
because you have all these little indies that want to do it. Then Star Trek Beyond or Independence, they just start hovering over. They're like, we want that 2 minutes.
Good transition, Mark. Good transition. All right.
All right. Well, one of the huge movies coming out this year, obviously, is Batman versus Superman.
Woo-hoo.
And
Yes.
a lot of people, when we first heard the casting, were kind of even making fun of Ben Affleck as Batman. But I think as we've seen trailers come out, people are getting more and more excited. Schnepp, you are a comic book connoisseur. So should people be excited or pessimistic about Batman versus Superman, and why?
Hey, look, I think if you're a comic book fan, you should be over the moon excited, jumping around like, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. If you're just a regular movie going and you love enjoying big blockbuster films, you should also be really excited. I think what they did with this film, as far as from all the press and all the trailers and everything I've seen, is taken two giant characters and put them in one film that's never been done before. It looks epic, it looks giant, it looks like a massive slugfest, it looks exciting. They've chucked a lot of other characters in there that I've heard a lot of of complaining about people. Oh, there's too many characters. It worked great with Avengers. They're just reverse engineering. I think it's going to be quite a fantastic film. So I'm really, really excited about it. Yeah, sure, there was a couple of misfires with the second trailer, but beyond that, it looks really fun.
So you think it's going to be a good film?
I actually think it's going to be a good film.
Yeah,
I think
we talk a lot about on the show about whether we're excited about it.
Right.
We talk a lot about whether we like the trailers or not. We talked a lot about whether or not it's going to make a lot of money. But one of the things we have not actually talked a lot about here, oddly enough, is do we actually think the film is going to be any good? I mean, that really comes down to it. So I'll try to play both sides of the coin here, okay? Why should we be optimistic? Number one, because despite what some yahoos think, Man of Steel was fucking awesome. Man of Steel was awesome. I love that film. It gets better every time I see it. I think Zack Snyder did a magnificent job with that. Number two, I think Ben Affleck was a stroke of freaking genius to get him. Like we talked about it before, like, oh, the world laughed when they announced that Ben Affleck was going to be Batman, and ain't nobody laughing anymore. That doesn't mean everybody's bought into it, but nobody's laughing anymore. Now that we've seen what he's kind of bringing, what kind of style and tone of a Batman he's bringing, I think we got that look forward to. Henry Cavill has been a great Superman since Man of Steel, so I think that's a really good thing. We're getting a story here that we have been waiting to see for decades. Batman versus Superman. And finally, the most important, popular, dominant female superhero in the history of the world, Wonder Woman, is finally making her big screen appearance. I think there is a lot of reasons to be optimistic about this, and I'll go on record right now. I think Batman vs. Superman is going to be a very good movie. I think it's going to be a very good movie. I don't just have high hopes for it. I think it's going to be a very good movie. Now, playing the other side of the coin, though, I can understand why some people might feel a little pessimistic. The second trailer, we're not going to go into it all that much, but there's that. Some people have raised objections about even though we're not seeing them in the trailers, that this is going to be a crowded film. There's going to be a lot of people in there. And I've always said, it really depends on how you use characters. There's not a magic number that equals crowded and one that equals not. A 4-person movie can feel crowded. A 40-person film can feel just fine. So, I mean, but it's understandable why some people raise it up. Some people like me, not very big on the Wonder Woman casting choice. I would have liked to have seen a lot more credible, long-standing actresses who have actually spent their lives being actresses instead of making it their second career. But Zack Snyder cast her, so maybe he saw something we didn't. So I understand why some people will still look at Batman v Superman and be a little bit pessimistic. I get it, I do. For me, though, I think the pros way outweigh the cons, and I do think this is going to be a really good film. What about you?
I think you should be optimistic, but I think you should be cautious. And I think because the problem that you might run into with this movie is that there's a lot going on, as you mentioned, but we also have seen Zack Snyder in the past has really become a little bit sometimes style over substance. And that add that with everything that's going on inside of this movie, you could get into some tricky situations. That being said, it's Batman and Superman. And we finally get to see them together. And it is also the formation of not only the Justice League, it's the formation, really, of the DCU. Man of Steel started it out, but this is the stuff the events that are going to bring us further into the DCU. So in regards to, I think it'll be a good movie. I think it has the possibilities of being a really good movie. And I also think the addition of Ben Affleck, who I will admit, when it was announced, I was not thrilled by. And I'm one of those people who has changed their tune. And it also has to do a lot with what he does as a director. And I think because of him there with Zack Snyder and helping Zack Snyder, because it's really, Ben Affleck also will be helping Zack Snyder, and maybe it's going to be a kind of a collaboration now. That is why I think you should be optimistic that this will be a good movie.
I think this movie's going to kick ass. And look, caution is great, and it's necessary in what we do as far as being critics and reviewing movies. But I'm a fan
That's
first
why you
and
have
foremost.
4 kids.
That's why I have 19 kids whose names I don't remember. I got drunk and named them after Leonard
They're all
Skinner
named
members.
Eddie. Come on.
Most of them are named Eddie. So look, if you're a fan of this, you should be going in and you should be optimistic. You should be over the moon that they made a movie about Batman fighting Superman. Your life is too short to walk around and be nervous about, am I going to like this form of art? Just get excited. That's the most fun part about this stuff is getting hyped, is getting jacked up. If you go in and you hate it, are they gonna execute your puppy? No, just go in. You didn't like the movie as much as you did, but you should enjoy the excitement going in, which is why I always tell people I don't like when trailers give away too much, but get excited. Watch trailers. But it's little 2-minute pieces of art, and it gets you excited. It's fun to enjoy and celebrate this stuff. It's not fun to walk around and be like, that movie looks stupid, but I'll go see it anyway.
I'm feeling nervous about this. I'm anxious about this. Relax.
Yeah,
I agree with
enjoy it, celebrate it, man. It's
Little known fact that John Wick was actually, his puppy was killed because he didn't like Batman v Superman.
That's right. Reverse engineered it.
Who's got room in their wallet for a condom? I mean, forget caution. Throw it to the wind. All right, what's next?
All right. Well, I am a gossip queen. You guys know
Nice.
this. I love gossip.
No.
I love.
Give me some gossip.
I'm gonna dish with the gossip after this episode of Movie Talk. Okay, so
Your Mark had a 20th kid.
yeah.
Named Sammy. That was controversial.
All right, but there's a lot of gossip and speculation when it comes to the movie news world. I personally love it because I think it kind of markets the movie in a weird, twisted way, and it gets people buzzing online. But I can get that some people think it's not too much of a good thing. Do you think that speculation and gossip around a movie is bad or good for the film fan community?
Well, I think it's important to note a distinction between the two, between speculation and gossip. So gossip would be, Cosmic Book movie source puts out, hey, we're hearing that Pauly Shore is going to play Robin. Okay, so that's gossip.
Bye.
Now that's everything going around our gossip. But then you get a bunch of idiots around the table saying, who do we think? Do we think there could be a Robin in the DC cinema? That's speculation. So there's a little bit of difference. Gossip, I think, is fine if it is phrased properly. If it is made clear that, look, there's a piece of gossip going around, but let's encapsulate this. This is gossip. There's no real foundation to this, but let's talk about it. So I think gossip can be fine in that sort of context. It's when we see it run out of control and gets presented as fact and becomes clickbait and all that kind of stuff. Speculation, though, I've heard some people, especially during the lead up to Star Wars, because there was so much speculation surrounding Star Wars for a year. Who will this Rey be? When will Luke pop up? All that kind of stuff. And some people I would see online saying, this is all this speculating is kind of ruining it for me. And I can understand that. For me personally, though, as a sports fan myself, the Super Bowl is coming up, right? And I'm watching ESPN every day to hear the football experts speculate about what they think might happen at the Super Bowl. Because it opens up the world. I'm never going to get on the field of a Super Bowl game. Are you kidding me? But it opens up the world for me to engage with it and be a part of it. And as you know, when Mark and I will debate later how many points the Panthers can put up on Denver, that's us kind of engaging in it and being a part of it in our own way. And I think, like for me and myself, leading up to Star Wars Episode 7, I mean, I don't know how many hours you and I spend, not even on camera, off camera too, just talking Star Wars because it's what we love and we engage with it and it immerses us in it. And I personally, I love, as long as it's all formed like gossip, if it's formed right, I love the idea and the stuff of being a film fan and being able to speculate. So me personally, I don't think it lessens the film experience or the film fan experience. I personally think it enhances it. What do you think, Schnepp?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about speculation about, what if this happens in this movie, or what are they going to do with the characters
Who
in
will
Doctor
play,
Strange?
yeah.
Once they cast them, they're like, well, we heard this person's in the film. Who are they going to play? That's all speculation, but it's like we're discussing it and we're kind of breaking it down. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think when it's like the wild rumors and they just kind of float around and are taken as fact, I mean, those can either hurt or destroy a film. But I mean, you could also look at it like people there's a lot of haters out there, and then they'll take one particular thing that is a fact and just keep running with that and run it into the ground. So that becomes a thing, like say with Batman v Superman, the appearance of Doomsday. It's like, sure, we weren't very happy about it, but I think DC, Warner Brothers realized let's pull that back a little bit and let's concentrate on Batman v Superman versus Superman. That's I think people learn by their mistakes.
Yeah, one of my favorite dining establishments is Taco Bell. And when I go to Taco Bell, I know it's not necessarily going to be good for me. I know I probably will regret the decision afterwards, but during it, it's fun to at least enjoy Taco Bell for that moment. That's how I look at online rumors, as long as it's presented as this is speculation. When it gets into a problem is when people people are reporting it as fact. And it's not that hard to do. It's just say, we're hearing, this is a rumor, we're speculating on this right now, this is not set in stone, and then you can enjoy it. But I will say that it's empty carbs. So when it's too much, and even Star Wars, like I found myself speculating and like writing a whole movie in my head, and I had to back off a little bit because I don't want to walk in with such a presumption. It's one thing to be optimistic and excited to see a movie. It's another thing to go in expecting to see this happen 15 minutes in, and then this thing happen, and then meet this character. And I didn't want to go in there with that kind of specific expectation. I expected the movie to be great. I didn't want to go in and say, I think this is going to happen to Han Solo, and I think this is going to happen to Rey and Finn. So I had to back off of that a little bit because after a while, it is empty carbs, and it's just not good for you, and you can feel it actually weighing yourself down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily. I understand kind of what you're saying, but not. I actually do like the theories and the speculations too, because I do like to formulate my own theories and kind of what I'm going to see. And if the movie's done well, and the movie's done, because there were a lot of things that happened in Force Awakens that I was dead wrong about, but it was done better than I would have done it. So I was like, okay, that's actually better than the way. If the filmmakers make it in a way, I actually think it's better for you as far as a fan goes, because I think that what theories and speculations and rumors can do for you is enhance the fan experience. I think that did you read this? What did you think about this? Oh, is this? What do you think if maybe this happened this particular way, or so and so is going to get cast in this role? This could be fun. Do you think he could play it? Those types of conversations are good. What I don't like, and what I actually hate when sites do, is post rumors or possible script leaks. I hate that. I think that I think it takes away from the filmmakers. I don't think that it's that they should be out there. I don't want to know actual plot points. Speculation's one thing. If you go, well, what if Doctor Strange does this, or what if Rey is actually this person, as opposed to, well, we're hearing that this scene, which we read from a supposed leak of the script. Don't do that, because that's taken away from filmmakers. That's taken away from the experience, because you're giving me a scene. You're taking away that fun. That stuff I hate. Rumors and speculations, and I agree with what both you guys were saying, Mark too, in regards to, as long as you say, take this with a grain of salt, this could be something, you're letting us know. Don't tell us it's fact, because then when it's not fact, it's going to bite you in the ass, and it's happened many times out there. So I think that, but as far as speculation goes, I think that's a lot of fun, and I really do think it enhances the
Don't you draw a line, though, Summer? Because I enjoy it for what it's worth for a while, too, but there is a line that I'm like, guys, let's stop talking about it. It's like after an hour, and I'm like, can we please stop talking about this, because now it's starting to weigh me down.
Well, not me.
Well, no, that's the thing. Yeah. I think that the line is, with the line you made for yourself, is you don't click on it anymore.
Right.
I don't think you should tell people not to do it anymore. You should choose. You should have the say and going, you know what? I'm not going to click on it anymore. I'm done. Like we've got a buddy.
And that's where the Taco Bell analogy comes back.
Right.
Is because it's like I don't want to be eating this 14th Dorito taco, so I need to stop.
Yeah, because I have a friend that didn't watch one single trailer for Star Wars, didn't read any articles, wanted to go in fresh. But he understood why everybody else was speculating and talking about it, because he just wanted to have a different experience. I don't think that because of that because your one experience, you should tell other people, stop speculating, guys, because I don't want to.
Well,
it's
Kristian, you bring up something really a good point, because now it's past beyond speculation, beyond talking. We're talking about spoilers, and I am one of the types of people who, for I'd say 90% of anything, I don't mind spoilers. Like, I don't even care if you tell me the end of the movie or this or that, or if you're telling me something like sometimes you were like, hey, I just heard this, you want to hear it? And you were like, no, I don't want to hear it. You'd leave the room.
away, yeah.
I left the room multiple times.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm like, give it to me. Let's
Yeah.
hear it, because I like that, because I feel like, at least for myself, it doesn't affect me in the film. I don't, even if I know where it's happening in the film, I don't know the entire thing. I try not to know the entire movie nowadays, but I don't mind.
Really?
But as a filmmaker and a writer, if
Yeah.
you had a movie coming out, a script coming out, and your script got leaked out there about a really cool scene that you put together, you'd be okay with that?
No.
That's what I mean.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, I don't.
As a fan member,
I'm
though,
saying it's
But
like
you'd be-
not.
but you'd
No,
be-
but
but
we
you'd
don't talk
understand-
about spoilers. Not in the outer community.
Yeah.
If you find out about something and you talk with your friends about
Right,
it, that's
right.
totally
But not
You and
releasing
I have
it,
had
but not releasing it
conversations-
into the world.
You and I have
Yes.
had
Yeah,
conversations
got
that I've seen a movie, and you're like, okay, well, what happens here? And I'm like, are you sure you want to hear this? And you're
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Right.
And then you're like, and how does it end? I'm like, okay, it goes like this. And you go, all right, that sounds good. I'm going to go see it.
Yes.
After you've heard all the spoilers, then you wanted to go see it.
But I totally appreciate and understand people on the online community, like on Twitter or Facebook. Don't ruin the stuff.
Right.
Like, it's for me, like Walking Dead. Don't tell me what happened. Like, I'm specifically like that show. I want to just watch that.
Right.
So there's specific things, and I think everyone has their own specific things. And I think you should respect that. And that's what I think, that lack of respect online is something that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know. So.
By the way, there's a dude who gets eaten by zombies.
What?
Zombies eating
Yeah.
zombies?
In Star Wars?
It's a zombie wars.
Gossip Queens. All right. So I think recently we've kind of been seeing, obviously, the success with superhero movies, which is exciting because now we're kind of getting to see these superheroes that we're not so familiar with. One of this in this upcoming year I'm really excited about is Deadpool because I love dirty jokes. Mark, Mark, while you're digesting your Taco Bell, I'll throw this one to you. Which movie in 2016, which superhero movie do you think is going to be the best?
I love that question, Ashley, because there's so many to pick from. Do I go with Deadpool? Do I go with setting an early standard and having that maintained through the rest of 2016? It's such a risk to pick a movie that opens that early simply because you also have Batman versus Superman coming out the next month, and then you have Captain America Civil War. It may not be one of those three movies. Doctor Strange is a film that I'm speculating I think I'm really going to enjoy. Having said all of that and all these great comic book movies I'm excited about, Suicide Squad's another one. I'm going to say I think Batman v Superman edges out Captain America Civil War for the best comic book movie of 2016 crown, simply because if the movies are of equal quality, and it's great to see superheroes fighting each other and then maybe teaming up and putting aside their differences so they can fight Ninja Turtles, at the end of the day, seeing Batman versus Superman is something that I always wanted to see since I was a zygote, and I never thought I would get that chance. So that's going to be the tiebreaker for me as far as best in 2016.
Schnepp, which one? We got Batman v Superman, Batman v Superman. We got Captain America Civil War, X-Men Apocalypse, Suicide Squad, Doctor Strange, and Deadpool.
Right. And Gambit's been pushed off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's going to be the best superhero? What is, like, put it on the table now. What's going to be the best superhero? Not the most successful,
Right.
the best superhero.
Well,
movie
wasn't the question
2016.
am I most excited about? Not the
No,
best.
what's going to be the best?
What's the best?
After you see them all.
What will be the best?
What do you predict will be the best?
The best. That's really rough.
Yeah, Ashley's asking the hard-hitting
I know,
question.
Ashley, what are you trying to do to us?
Emphasis on the hard.
You know, honestly, like I think I can answer that. I can answer that in multiple answers because there is no best.
We got it.
I didn't even hear it.
She
Good,
made
I'm
a
glad you
hard
didn't.
joke.
I'm glad you didn't.
on the hard shit.
Oh, all right. So I think the best comedy superhero film will be Deadpool. But it's like, that's what I mean. I can't say what's going to be the best because they're all different types of films. I think Batman v Superman is that film that all of us have been waiting for our entire lives, to see these two iconic characters fight each other or become friends or both. Both is going to happen. And for myself, I'm expecting Doctor Strange to be the most original and the most unique and possibly the best film of this year. Number one, because it's a character that none of us know about. Well, I know about it, but a lot of people don't know what the hell Doctor Strange is or didn't read the comic book. It's got an incredible cast. I think the best cast of the year. And all the other superhero films have incredible casts. So I just specifically think they really made a really well-rounded effort to get like quite a unique cast together for Doctor Strange. And I really hope it plays off of everything that character is and was in the comic book. So for me, it's Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is edging it out personally for me, but it's really it's a tough year because you have Captain America Civil War.
It's a hard year, one might say.
Yeah, Ashley might say that. Yeah, and then Batman v Superman. I've been waiting my entire life for it, but for me, particularly Doctor Strange is the one I'm most anxious to see.
I love where this conversation's going.
So.
So you have Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I have B versus S.
Oh, well, yeah, the answer to the question, what is going to be the best film of the year, is different from which one am I probably most excited about. Those are two different questions with two different answers. But if I got to go and put it on the line right now and predict what I think will end up being, I mean, we won't know until we see them all.
Right.
But if we got to make a prediction, Captain America Civil War is going to be the best superhero movie of the year. I mean, look, what the Russo brothers did with Captain America Winter Soldier was nothing short of absolutely remarkable. And I'm going to put Batman v Superman in second there. And the only reason I'm putting Batman versus Superman in second is because there's a couple more question marks on Batman v Superman. I feel much more secure. It is a safer bet. If I was investing money on Wall Street and I had to pick one of these stocks, I'm putting it in the more sure stock, which at this point is Captain America Civil War. So for me, I'm going to go Captain America Civil War, then Batman v Superman. And then it becomes a free-for-all because Deadpool, I think, is going to be awesome. Doctor Strange is going to be awesome. Suicide Squad looks like it's going to be awesome. And frick, if X-Men Days of Future Past is any indication,
right.
X-Men Apocalypse is going to be awesome too. Yeah. We are in for what I believe are going to be 6 really good comic book movies in one freaking year. Yeah. But if I had to put it on the line, I'm going to say at the end, when the dust settles, we're all going to be saying that Civil War was the best.
Oh,
best
does
of the bunch.
Kristian break the tie?
I'll tell you what, man. You guys are sleeping on X-Men. I think that it's going to be. I think it's a 3-horse race, and I think that it's between X-Men. I think it's between Doctor Strange, and I think it's between Civil War. Those are the 3 that are going to be quality. The best quality movies, I think, are those 3 films. I think what Derrickson's going to do with Strange,
yeah.
and you're going the director,
Singer's
the
back for
cast,
X-Men.
Benedict Cumberbatch is finally in that role in regards to Doctor Strange. We're getting what Marvel has done with their new films, whether it be Ant-Man with a heist film and Captain America Winter Soldier was the spy film. This is going to be a little bit more creepy. You're going to have the other realms. I think this could be something that people are like, whoa, where did that come from? So I think as far as quality movie and the fact that it hits in November could absolutely be the stealer. Now, X-Men Apocalypse, like you were saying, Days of Future Past could arguably be the best movie of that year when that came out in 2014. So I think that movie has a shot because Bryan Singer clearly has a hold on that franchise. But I do think it'll be Civil War. I think Civil War, from everything you're seeing in the trailer for that movie, and that to me seems like we're already so invested in both those characters to see them come to a head and knowing where the story's going. I keep saying that this Marvel Cinematic Universe is a television show that we've been following, and we're getting up to like one of the season finales here, to finally watch this go down. You can watch that trailer over and over again. You get those feels every time he says, "So was I." You're like, get me into that fight. I want to watch that fight. And you want to watch, because it's not just about the fight. It's about what is going to happen. Where is that going to shape? Someone's going to die. There's so much going to happen at Civil War.
You guys all make great points, too. And so, like, listening to this, it's not just my fanboy desires on behalf of Batman for B versus S to be the best one. Because, look, if you look at just the directors involved, I love Scott Derrickson, what he's done. The Russo brothers, Bryan Singer, they all have more credibility with me than Zack Snyder. So if you're talking about the most question mark, the Batman vs Superman has enough question marks to get the Riddler hard, okay? But I still think I'm going to take a little bit of a leap of faith and say it's going to be Batman vs Superman.
Ashley, I'm just curious,
Yes.
what do you think is going to be the
I don't know
one
about
on
the
here?
best because I'm not as critical, I guess, as you guys are.
But put
I'm-
it this way, when it's all said and done, and we're getting to the end of 2016, which one of these will you guess will be the one you say to yourself, I liked that one the most?
Well, for me personally, I'm going to say Deadpool, 100%, just because I love that humor. I think it's hilarious, but I'm really excited to see Civil War, just because I love Captain America.
So seriously, around the table, we've got, out of the 6 films, we've got Doctor Strange being picked as one, Batman v Superman, Civil War, and Deadpool. I mean, look, it's going to be
What a year.
great freaking year. All right.
So we are lucky enough to work in this world of movies, and I think we forget sometimes that the average person doesn't get to see as many movies as the people at this table do. So what can the movie industry do to kind of get more people to the movies, John?
Yeah, I mean, the movie theater industry has had a problem last couple of years. That while box office returns get bigger and bigger, that's partly due, in fact, to the higher ticket prices and new formats and things like that. And the movie industry has done a very good job of, over the past decade or so, of, updating screens, better picture, better sound. They've been doing a lot of that in the last 10 years, so that's good. But still, not enough people are going to the movies. I mean, a whole bunch do. I think this year it's going to be like a $10 billion year for the movie industry, which is nuts. So, I mean, it's been a very good year, but I still think more people need to go to theaters. And the movie theaters themselves have to ask themselves a question: what can we do to bring more people in? I think it's, once again, no single magic bullet, but there are a couple things you need to do. Number one, I think you have to have more creative, not stronger, but more creative enforcement of movie theater etiquette rules. I really there's a theater in town called the ArcLight in Hollywood. And I don't know if they still do it, but I know for a long time what they would do is, instead of putting up a message saying with some dancing phone going, "Hey guys, don't talk on me during the movie," instead of doing that, they'd actually have an usher come in before the movie would start, stand at the front and say, "Hey everybody, thanks for coming to ArcLight tonight. Hey guys, we're just really asking you, please stay off your cell phones and please don't talk during the movie and disrupt the enjoyment of..."
They still do. I was there last week. They do it
and you know what?
every show.
When there's a real human being out front that comes out and does that, I got to say for myself personally, except for maybe once somebody accidentally forgot to turn their phone off and their phone rang, for the most part, I've always had very good, other audience members' experiences at ArcLight.
It's one of the greatest places to go if it bothers you that people talk or use their phone during a movie. If you go to ArcLight, that never happens because there's an usher standing there the entire movie.
Yeah, and just the fact that they have a real human being coming out and doing that. And the other thing I'll say is this: while I still firmly believe that movies aren't that expensive. Like I went to what was it? Chili's. I went to Chili's the other day.
Good man.
And I do enjoy.
Oh,
I do enjoy a good.
I don't
dinner
care
at
about the
Chili's.
C rating. Okay, it's delicious.
C stands for champion. So I went in there.
Check your colon.
And I spent. See, so I spent more money on a quick half-hour meal that I had there than I would have on a movie ticket. So it's not that expensive. However, and I also get why concession stands are expensive, because that's the only place the movie. That's how the theaters keep their lights on, is by. I get it, but all that being said, the movie theater industry has to figure out a way to stem the tide of rising ticket prices. They've got to get the ticket prices under control a little bit before they do spiral out of control. And they can't just do it because there's profit margins for the studios and everything. I think it's a huge systemic problem that goes all the way back to how much is Hollywood spending on making a particular movie, therefore necessitating that movie theaters charge higher and higher prices for them to get their money back. It's got to be a holistic approach from both the studio side and the movie theater side to say, look, it's getting too expensive for people at some point here to go to the movies. Let's bring the prices down a little bit and let's figure out how to do that together. I think those are the two keys. I don't know, Schnepp, what do you think?
You know what? I mean, you're right, but I think if there's a way to institute some kind of thing like Mondays, every movie's $5 and it's across the board, across all the different like Regal, AMC, everybody, all the theater chains agree. Monday night, every movie's $5. You're going to see the increase in movies go up on Monday night.
Oh, the Mondays will be packed.
Tuesday, you could do a double feature. You could pick two movies and it's the same price. The price of one, two for the price of one. That is the way that I think you start to get people to, number one, go to see movies on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday. You make special events. And remember, going to a movie theater is like going out to a bar or going out to a restaurant. It's a community event. You're sitting with a bunch of other people in the dark watching a movie. It's not like you're at your house and you pause it and go get a sandwich or use the bathroom or take a break. It's a totally different environment, totally different experience. I think movie theaters need to let the audiences remind them about that it is a community experience and it's an event. And it's something to go have fun. It's like, of course, you don't want to have people talking, using their phone. But once again, it's like, don't be sitting there quiet. If it's a comedy, everybody should be laughing. If it's a funny film, that's the kind of thing that's what the great thing about going to see a movie with a bunch of other people is. It's a community event. Get that activity back in the minds of people where they'll just like, I'll wait for it for Netflix. No, you don't want to wait for it for Netflix. You can see those two movies for the price of one. Or you can see, 4 movies for $20 if you go on Monday. So I think you have to initiate these kinds of things to get people to want to go back to the theaters. Everyone's going to keep going to see movies on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. But I'm saying, like, how do you get more people to enjoy that theater going experience? You have to do that.
I think you have to clone both Terry Crews and Kevin Nash and put them in the aisles and say, "Just get off your phone." But no, I think that you're right. I think that by movie theaters doing like these contests and like special events and making it a fun place to go and you can see a movie for cheaper on a particular night, and if you catch this, you might be able to do this, or maybe there's more bigger screen. One of the things I loved again what the ArcLight did was when they showed Empire Strikes Back with Kirshner. They showed he did like a Q&A beforehand, like, and that's just an example of like a special event, and like they do more special events at theaters, and not everybody's gonna be flying around we're in Los Angeles obviously, but there's more things you can do to try to make it more of a fun time, because like you're saying that you pick and choose. Not everybody's in our business. They don't all have to see movies. They pick what their hard-earned money is going to go towards, and they say, well, I know this movie's coming out then. That's the one I'm going to take my family to. But if I could take my family to a cheaper movie, or if I can do something fun with them, or there's some kind of experience that it would be, remember, it's called the theater. It's the theater. And back when that first started, it was the event. People were going all the time because it was like going to, it was the substitute for like the opera and going to Broadway, and that's what it was. And now it's just kind of become you go spend $25 on one movie, and it's like, whoa, take it easy. There's only so many I can do. So I think that give it more of an experience.
You remember the original Annie when they all got dressed up and they did a whole song and dance? You know why? Because they were going to the movies.
Right,
They were so jacked to go to the movies, and now you just have slobs like me that just roll out of bed and just sit there. I had this animal 2 rows in front of me, and he sat
right
down.
here. I'm
You
right
were-
here.
No, you were sitting next to me, and I told
Okay.
you about it afterwards. Is this guy? This is a press screening. This guy, he sits there.
I remember
this.
Not
Is this
only this,
ride along?
Yeah, this dude. No, not that guy. That
Okay.
guy was narrating the movie. He was commenting.
Right.
He was Joe Buck.
That's
This other
Kevin
guy-
Hart.
This dude comes down. This sloth is sitting down there. You know how people put their feet up, and that annoys me anyway.
Yeah.
Because even if nobody's sitting in front of you, I'm sitting behind you, so I can see your stupid foot doing this while I'm trying to watch the movie. This dude takes his shoe and his sock off. He got his bare foot right there. That is why you need plainclothes marshals in every theater. Just
Sir,
like they do
please
in
put the
heroin.
sock back on.
See your bunions.
Oh
Put the
my
sock back
God.
on, and then
You
put
could-
the sneaker
you could
back on and
see
get out of the theater.
shadow of lint in
Right.
between. The shadow of toe.
Is that a mouse in your toe?
You talk about checking your colon.
No.
Check your toes next time you go to
No.
a movie theater.
Right.
And that's why we're all chirping about ArcLight, because ArcLight does it the best
Get
possible
arrested, you do that.
way.
They break those toes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I feel such an amount of stress when I'm going to a normal showing. Because, again, I have some idiosyncrasies. I don't like to be around people that much anyway. I treated myself to Kung Fu Panda 3 last night, right? And I go there. The 2 things that really pissed me off, one is the kids in the theater. Nothing you can do about that. The other one is that I got myself a reasonably sized popcorn and a Diet Coke, $14. That's just too much money
Nah,
to spend.
well, that's
I know
the
that's
problem.
how they make their money.
Yeah, it's the
I
problem.
know that's how they make their
Yeah.
money, but
Yeah.
they're making too much money then, because that's too much for one poor boy who just wants to eat some popcorn.
But they're
and
not
drink a
making. But
Diet
they're not
Coke.
making their money off the tickets, though.
I
The
realize
studios
that,
are getting, yeah.
but I'm
So one
spending.
thing
I'm spending the
yeah.
money. The other thing you can do is actually all of us could build up more awareness for something like Movie Pass, which is a cool thing you can buy, and it's like $30 a month, $40 a month, depending on where you live.
I canceled my movie pass.
Because you were high on it. For a minute.
I was high on it because it was $35 a month in LA. Now, the average ticket price is about $12, so I use it 3 times. I'm in the black, right? I'm in the black if I use it just 3 times. Then they jack the price up to $45 a month. It's like, okay, now just to break even, I got to go see 4. And keep in mind that I see a number of films at press screenings with they're free. So now I got to go out and see 4 movies just to break
And you're in
even
the
on
business.
it. And I'm in the business, so it's like, that's a little bit too
Yeah,
much,
it's a lot.
and so I had to cease my recommendation of Movie
Wait,
Pass.
one thing you were talking about earlier about independent films. I know that here in LA, the Sundance 5 that's over on Sunset, they have Tuesdays. I think it's $5 or $6 night. So all the movies are $5.
That's a solid.
I'm pretty
theater,
sure it's
man.
called Shitty Tuesdays, and they play all the terrible movies.
No,
nobody
no,
wants
no,
to
no.
see.
No, it's
Shatai
it is Shatai Tuesday. But no, seriously, that is how that's how people can go see independent films. They
Yep.
make it like, and I think that should be an across the board thing for all films. And I think even do some kind of thing where you get like popcorn and a drink and the movie for $10. Something like that. Make that kind of a deal like Tuesdays, and I guarantee
The
you will
theaters
be
wouldn't. I mean, sorry,
I'd
not
do that.
theaters. Studios wouldn't go for that because studios would say,
on a Tuesday.
yeah, because studios would be saying, you're not giving us money. Like they'll say to the theaters, "Where's our money? Where's our cut?" And the theaters will say, "Well, we only charged $5 for the ticket."
Right.
And the studios say, "Well, tough. Then give us some of your concession money because that's not going to do it."
Well,
for
that's
us."
what I'm saying. They'd have to make that deal.
They got to figure it out.
They'd have to
They
figure it
gotta
out.
come up
Studios are
with a
like
way.
Whitey Bulger in Boston. They just walk
it'd be
around
rough.
like, hey, where's my money this
Where's
week?
my cut?
Well, I mean, it has to happen. Like we're talking about, it's gonna,
Break your
movie
legs.
theaters. They have to figure this out to get people to
Yeah, it's
want
got
to
to
go
be theaters
see.
and the studios working together.
Yeah.
They got to come up with a
I
solution.
saw a poor usher get his legs broken by a studio. He had a Warner Brothers shirt.
Put it down. I'll break your legs. I'll break
All
your
right,
legs.
folks. Hey, listen, it is Tuesday, which means it's time for us to talk about what is opening this week, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. A number of films are opening. We'll talk about a couple of them on Thursday. We got one in particular we're going to talk about today. So, Ashley, what's up?
First up, we're talking about the new Coen Brothers movie, Hail Caesar. The film stars George Clooney, Josh Brolin, Scarlett Johansson, and others, and is described like this. In the early 1950s, Eddie Mannix is busy at work trying to solve all the problems of the actors and filmmakers at Capitol Pictures. His latest assignments involve a disgruntled director, a singing cowboy, a beautiful swimmer, and a handsome dancer. As if all this wasn't enough, Mannix faces his biggest challenge when Baird Whitlock gets kidnapped while in costume for the Swords and Scale epic Hail Caesar. If the studio doesn't pay $100,000, it's the end of the line for the movie star. Mark, are you looking forward to Hail Caesar?
I am looking forward to Hail Caesar, and I'm especially looking forward to the theater experience I'm going to get when I see it where ArcLight Cinemas tonight. Can't wait. They don't do the intro during the press screening.
No, they don't.
Just
No,
kind
they
of
don't.
a
No
bummer.
need to.
They're all too nervous to talk in front of us. But I do have some reservations about this movie, not because the talent involved behind the camera or writing the movie. It's a Coen Brothers flick. They always deliver most of the time. What scares me a little bit, and I love the cast. I love Josh Brolin, Scarlett Johansson, Jonah Hill, all those great people. George Clooney, huge fan of the guy. I'm not crazy about him in comedies. I'm just not. And I'm the furthest thing from a comedy snob. I just think that he mean mugs sometimes for the camera. And when he's in a movie, whether it's Leatherheads or whether it's like Monuments Men, it just, when he's doing comedy, it just doesn't work for me as much as when he's doing drama. So I have some reservations about that. But with everybody involved and the Coen brothers doing this movie, you got to think it's at least going to be really good.
So the Coen brothers always deliver most of the time. Is that like 60% of the time it works every time?
As I was saying that, I remembered Burn After Reading.
Okay.
Or Intolerable Cruelty was the one I didn't like.
Yeah.
Oh, the one with Hanks?
No, that's
No,
the
the
Lady
one
Killers.
Hanks is the Lady
Lady
Killers. I
Killers.
really like Lady
Yeah.
Killers,
Yeah.
by the way.
No, Intolerable
Yeah,
Cruelty.
Burn
That was
After
like
Reading.
Yeah,
I
the one he
hated
did with
being-
Catherine
yeah.
Zeta-Jones, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
That was just uneven.
They always deliver most of the time.
They wrote
But
Bridge of Spies.
I'm dying to see this movie. Like, it's not my favorite trailer of the year, but so far 2016, and this I cannot believe that another moment is gonna beat this. My favorite moment in a trailer 2016 so far was "Were that it was so simple." Were that it was so simple.
so good.
That with Ray Fiennes.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that scene kills me
Unbelievable.
every time I watch that trailer. Yeah, we're all gonna go see it tonight. I am super stoked about this. I do like George Clooney doing comedy as well. He hasn't hit it out of the park every time.
Brother, Where Art
but like,
Thou?
Oh
Another
Brother, Where Art
Coen
Thou? I
brother
thought he
film?
killed it
Sure,
in that as
sure,
well.
yeah.
So I mean, and the cast is great. Ray Fiennes being in there, I think, is going to just murder this. I think this is going to be good. I'm actually not the biggest Josh Brolin fan, but I think this role looks awesome for him. I think he's going to do really well in this movie. So I'm really stoked about it.
It's in my top 5 most anticipated for the year. This looks like classic Coen Brothers stuff. Like the comedy, the cast, like everything about this movie. Like you could just watch this trailer and know that the Coen Brothers did it just from the little exchanges that
Yep.
we've seen so far. And every person that you guys have mentioned has had a scene in the trailer that sticks out. Whether it be Jonah Hill with that moment with Johansson, and like Clooney looks like he's overcooking it, but it kind of looks like he's supposed to be overcooking it. So everything that they have involved and they've done so far in these trailers, and I still don't really know too much about the movie, and I don't want to know about it because there's no way you can give away all of a Coen Brothers movie in a trailer. It's kind of impossible to do. So I cannot wait for this movie, and I want this show to be over so it gets closer to getting to see the movie.
Now, I'm not seeing it tonight. I'm seeing another film called Director's Cut, the Penn Jillette, Adam Rifkin film. But I'm seeing Hail Caesar with Holly this Friday. Why? Because we are Coen Brothers fanatics, Raising Arizona. Every single. This reminds me of Barton Fink meets Hudsucker Proxy. It's like this is in their wheelhouse. This is a perfect Coen Brothers type of a film. Every trailer I've seen is perfect, and I cannot wait to see this. I mean, the Coen Brothers, when they're in their realm, and this is their realm.
Lebowski, baby.
Oh my God, Lebowski! I cannot wait to see this. It really is my most anticipated film of this year as far as just a regular release, not some kind of event film like superhero film, just a regular film. I cannot believe that the Coen Brothers made this film. It's going to be magic. That's what I'm hoping.
All right, folks, listen, I forgot to mention this to you earlier, but because it's Tuesday, one of our regular shows, we want to take some live questions from you guys because we know an awful lot of you, there are thousands of you watching live right now. We want to take some of your questions you can get to contribute to the show right now. How do you tweet a question to us? It's simple. Get on Twitter. Make sure you're following us at Collider Video and tweet in some questions. And Ashley is going to pick some out. Now, have some people, are they on the ball and they knew to send in Twitter questions anyway?
They knew.
You already got a bunch ready to go?
I do.
All right, what do you got?
First question, we've talked about this a few times in our meetings. ALX writes, why don't you show some trailers on the screen behind you?
That's actually a
Oh, you mean right
question.
there?
Right there.
Yeah.
Why don't we put up some trailers? Okay, honestly, so here's a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. People are like, why don't you put on trailers, whatever. I instituted a rule about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago that we weren't going to show movie clips or trailers on our show. Why? Because YouTube has an itchy trigger finger when it comes to content claims and copyright. Like there was an example where a studio called me and said, hey, John, will you please play this clip that we're releasing for our movie? Will you? I didn't ask them, they asked us. Will you please play this clip for us? And it's a nice studio that we like. I said, sure, we'll play that clip for you. And so during Movie Talk one day, we said, hey guys, we want you to check out this new clip from this upcoming movie, so-and-so. So we play the clip. 2 days later, our YouTube account gets suspended. And it's like, we can't live stream, we can't do it. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, I'm communicating with YouTube. The studio, do you have proof that the studio gave you permission? They asked us to put this on. And so, like, and remember, it's not a bunch of people, a bunch of Poindexters sitting around in an office, like watching every single YouTube channel. They've got these specific algorithms set up that it just automatically triggers, and all of a sudden your channel gets shut down until you get it cleared up. So I just decided, you know what? It's not worth the hassle for every time it happens, so we're just not going to do it. So that's why when we do Star Wars commentaries, people say, why don't you put the movie in the corner while you're commentating? Because we'll get shut down. Why don't we play the trailers that we're talking about? Because we'll get shut down. I mean, it's not a huge, it's not necessarily a probability that we will, but the possibility is there. And believe you me, it is a painful sting in the ass when you got to go through the process of getting your channel put back up. It's a great question, but that's why you don't see us.
Every time we play a trailer, the studio sends their goons. And they're like, hey,
where's
some money
cut?
this week.
Break your legs.
Apologize.
Anything else? Or what's next?
Donald Long writes, thoughts on Elizabeth Banks being cast as the villain in the new Power Rangers movie.
All right, I'm going to tell you right now, this new Power Rangers movie is one of the dumbest pieces of buttfuck news I've heard in like a very, very long time.
What was that?
That being said,
Buttfuck news? Look at the Buttfuck news. It is Shit Day Tuesday here on Buttfuck News.
Buttfuck
You know what?
News, where we bring the best buttfuckery around.
I'll break
Buttfuck
your
News.
legs.
That's right.
I'll prick your leg.
What are you watching? Buttfuck News. Oh, did it start
with the
already?
mouth, with the mouth.
It's about three
So-
buttfucks in.
So, everybody knows I think it was a stupid idea for them to move ahead with this movie anyway, but there are ways that they could do that might turn out cool. And even I, the guy who says that, have got to say, and this is probably exactly what their strategy was, the addition of Elizabeth Banks, because for those of you who don't know, this was made official this morning. Well, not official, but the Hollywood Reporter is putting this out, that Elizabeth Banks is signed on to play Rita, the villain in the Power Rangers. And I got to say, for a doubter like me, all of a sudden, that project's got a little bit more credibility to me. All of a sudden, now even I, the one who's been saying all along, oh, I think this is a stupid idea, even I am now having to sit up and go, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that they got an Elizabeth Banks in there to do that. It would have been really cool to see like a Ming Na in there playing Rita, and I'm not even 100% sure it's going to be Rita she's playing. They're just saying she's going to play the villain. Even I got to go, that's pretty cool. And now I'm kind of going to keep my eye on this project to see how this goes, because maybe they might have something up their sleeves for us. What did you think about the news?
I think she adds a lot of. I mean, there are times when she's in comedies that don't really work. I didn't love her as directing Pitch Perfect 2, even though it hell with what I say. The movie made a shit ton of money. But I think that in regards to her as cast, and in this, she certainly showed that she added a lot in the Hunger Games franchise. I
loved her in that.
Yeah, so I think that it makes a lot of sense to add her. I think it adds a little bit more validity to the project. So yeah, I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, the character of Effie Trinket was one of my favorite things about any of the Hunger Games movies. And then, Elizabeth Banks, as every actress and actor does, they have some missteps, whether it be the Pitch Perfect 2 not being as funny as the first one, or the Walk of Shame movie she did, which I just really felt flat.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's not
yeah.
necessarily her fault. And as somebody who grew up not liking the Power Rangers, because I always thought all their villains were wearing latex suits, apparently there's going to be more to it. I don't know who this Rita person is, but Elizabeth Banks would be one of my front runners to be in that project. Her being in there lends a little more validity to what the Power Rangers movie could be.
Shep.
Yeah, like Ben Kingsley, everybody needs to get a paycheck. And,
Just single
I
out.
think
So
this
you're
movie-
playing the role of John Campea right now.
I
taking
think
the
this movie
pessimistic
is
point
going to
of view.
suck. It's going to suck. I don't care who they cast in it. They could get 500 people who are amazing. Screw this movie.
I have been in love with Elizabeth Banks ever
I think
since
she's
40-Year-Old
great.
Virgin.
I'd say I hope she got a lot of money.
Do you remember her in 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I totally. How could you
really
forget
She
her?
was so funny in that.
Steve Carell,
And
that
then
is graphic.
I think the follow-up one, she was in other things, obviously, but I think the one I saw her in immediately after that was Slither. And I just love Slither, and her role in Slither was so good. All right, what else do we got?
Been in a lot of really good movies and now a couple of stinkers.
Jared Meyer writes, thoughts on movies shot digitally versus on film. Do you guys notice the difference?
Oh man, I wish Dennis was on camera right now. He would. Dennis is
Just yell, Dennis. Just yell.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'll say this:
ahead.
like Tangerine is a movie that's on Netflix right now.
Is that the Maz Kanata story?
No, that's Orange Yoda. That's my,
Orange Yoda.
my favorite film on Netflix, Orange Yoda. No, it's this film that's shot all with an iPhone. And there's a couple of scenes in this film that you can actually see a digital artifact, like an actual line. And you can tell it's shot digitally, but it doesn't matter. I think when you go see a film like Star Wars, if you saw a digital artifact in the middle of the frame of the film, people would be upset and they'd be like, what is going on? Certain films need to be really well shot, and digital can do it and film can do it. In other films, you can be a little more forgiving. You could see the kind of digital, flatness in certain ways. I mean, it depends on budget. You could tell when a film is shot digitally, but the line is getting less and less every year. That you can't really tell now because of the techniques and the ability to make digital look like film.
I think on the whole, I don't really notice it when I'm in a movie theater, but if I'm prepared for it ahead of time, like with Star Wars, and they're shooting on film, and I'm like, oh, okay, so now I know what to expect. If you guide me a little bit, I can get into it, but it's kind of like, Miller Lite versus Coors Light. If you blindfold me, I probably couldn't tell the difference, but once I start drinking and I see what the label is, I can prefer one or the other, or both.
Yeah, I digital is the way to go. I mean, I know there are some filmmakers today that are very nostalgic about using film as a medium. I got no problem with anybody using film as a medium. I have a little bit of a problem with some of the filmmakers who are like, film is the only way to do it. Shut the fuck up. And I think it just makes so much more sense from a filmmaking perspective. But I mean, either or. It doesn't matter which one you prefer or don't prefer. Me personally, I prefer the really good high-end digital stuff. But I can go into a movie watching it on film and say that looks spectacular too. It's just gotten to that point. You're absolutely right, Schnepp. They've gotten to that point where the line has gotten so thin, and it's going to continue to blur even more. So really, when I go into a film now, one of the last things I'm worried about is, was this shot on film or was it shot digitally?
Yeah, I think it's the same. I'm going to echo Mark's sentiments. If you tell me about it like beforehand, I'll be looking for it. But when I'm in there and they say, it was digital. Oh yeah, I'm so into the story and the characters and stuff too that I don't have like the filmmaker's eye that you do, to where you're looking at it, looking for it. So
as soon as the movie comes on, I'm like, man, their heads are big. Right. How big the screen is.
Well, it's also it really has come down now to the director of the cinematographer.
Yeah.
The lighting, how you light video is very much different than how you light film. So that's where you have the magic really happening now. So.
All right, what's next?
Carrie Smart kind of asked this in a roundabout way, saying, making a murderer movie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, it's a great idea, but there's a couple things you got to keep in mind. It's a great idea, yes, but let's say some studio like the idea of it right now, right? It's a full year until minimum. If they greenlit it right now, started the process of finding actors and directors and get a script together, and then get your production crew together, get pre-production, scout the locations, go out, shoot the movie, do post, and put it out. You're talking about a year. And this is a very trendy thing, making a murderer. It's a very trendy thing, but where's that trend going to be a year from now? I'm not really sure. But the other thing is this. There's still a lot of question marks surrounding that whole thing. Because now you got the dude's fiance coming out saying she lied in his defense. And I was like, I don't know. So I think you got to, if you're a producer, you got to be really careful. It's like, if we did a movie about this, where do we fall? Where do we come down on?
Right.
We coming down on his side? Yes. It's a very cool question. I don't know how to answer it, though. Mark, how would you answer it?
You answer it with either Oxygen or Lifetime Network. They can crank those things out. They had the British Nanny movie like 2 weeks after it came out. You give Tori Spelling a call, you see if she's busy, and you get this movie in the works. Because, look, I'm in the middle of making a murder, so I haven't seen the ending yet, the conclusion. My girlfriend has not only seen the whole thing, she's also read all the outside speculation.
Aliens are involved. Mark, I just spoiled it for you.
See, this is why
Alien
this movie
abductions.
needs to get made. Do it now. If we can get an OJ movie, I don't want to have to wait like 20 years to see the Making a Murderer movie. I want to see it now.
I'm not part of the crew. I haven't seen it. I don't know anything. I know.
Gosh, you're missing out.
Don't judge me, Mova. So I don't know. I can't say whether or not.
Here's why it's horrifying though, and this is why I even feel bad. I'm sure a lot of you guys too. Is that like we've gone as a society from being entertained by fake crime stories, like I'm just gonna go watch a show and that person died. This is like a real thing that happened. This is like a real murder that took place, and we're all just sitting there shoving popcorn on our face watching Netflix. So it feels a little little icky.
No, I wasn't eating popcorn. I was yelling at the screen. I was so angry.
You were really invested
I
in
was
it.
so angry by like the 5th episode. Like, how can that happen? I wanted to break the TV in half and like drive to that horrible town and blow it up. Yeah, I personally, I don't want to see a movie about it. I would rather they figure out, what happened in the actual reality. And is the guy in jail? Is he guilty or innocent? It's still unknown.
You know what I'd love to see is a movie based on the Serial story.
Yes.
The
Oh my
Serial
gosh,
podcast
yes.
is really, really engaging, and that's
At
just
least
an
season
audio
1.
thing. So yeah.
At least season 1. All right, last question of the day.
All right. Michael Martinez writes, director you all think is overrated.
Overrated.
Tim Burton.
Ooh, good one, and that's a really good answer.
I like him a lot. And I respect him a lot. But the amount of hype he gets, Del Toro. I know. I love the guy, and I think visually he's amazing. But he's like this. I think he's got like really like 3 really good movies. But the amount what he gets right now, I don't know if he deserves the amount of love. I really do like the guy.
I think Roland Emmerich is overrated.
I don't know anybody that
He's
likes
underrated.
him. I don't know if you can call him overrated if nobody really likes him that
People
much.
keep giving him hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, yeah, he gets
Somebody
jobs,
has
but I don't know if you can call him overrated.
Yeah,
since
I'll
nobody
say
likes
Rennie
him.
Harlan. I know you guys love Cutthroat Island, just not a big a fan. I can't really. I think Tim Burton's probably it's a really good one. Del Toro's a really good one as far as an overrated. Like I would even throw Zack Snyder in that boat until I actually see Batman versus Superman. Then all the pub and all the stuff that he's getting make it worth my while because I didn't love Man of Steel. Don't hit me.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us on this installment of Collider Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing out our friends over at AMC Theaters. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater, showtime, and, of course, your movie ticket information. Make sure you go over and bookmark Collider.com. That's our website, keeping you up to date on everything going on in the world of entertainment, television, movies, you name it. The writers go up there, keeping you up to date by the minute. Bookmark Collider.com, and make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel and click the thumbs up button as well. It's a good way of letting us and everybody else know that you like the video today. I want to thank the people sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting way over there, Mr. Jon Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, just at Jon Schnepp. You can get my film, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, at TDOSLWH.com. And you can find me on Fat Man on Batman later today with
Nice.
Kevin Smith. I'm going to be a guest. So
Sitting right beside me, Mr. Mark Ellis.
I'm the chief editor of Buttfuck News, and make sure, Southern California, I'm back. I'll be at the Comedy Store on Sunset this Saturday. Next weekend, Valentine's Day weekend, I'll be celebrating with you fine folks at the La Jolla Comedy Store just north of San Diego.
Before we go to Christian, don't forget, we've got Heroes today.
I keep forgetting Collider Heroes. We've got Rob Liefeld, special guest today
Oh,
on
really?
Collider
Oh,
Heroes.
really?
So tune in. It's not live, but like it'll be up by 5 o'clock today, and we're going to talk all things Deadpool and all things Rob Liefeld. So
Sitting over here on my right, Mr. Kristian Harloff.
I'll break your legs.
Hey, break his legs, Harloff.
Check your colon. Find me at Kristian Harloff, Twitter and Instagram, and Collider Jedi Council every Thursday. Hashtag Collider Jedi Council. We'll pick out some questions and we'll talk about them.
And, of course, our moderator today, Miss Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you?
On Twitter and on Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
And you can follow me on all social media, basically on Facebook and on Twitter, just at Jon Campea. Special thanks to Dennis and Wendy and Jonathan behind the cameras, and special thanks to you guys. Make sure you jump in the comments section. Leave all your thoughts and opinions on anything or everything we talked about here today. So that'll do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for joining us for Collider Video. My name's Jon Campea, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.